Good evening. I'd like to call to order the January 20th, 2021 Concord Township Board of Trustees meeting. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Ms. Dawson, would you please call the roll?
Mr. McIntosh.
Present.
Mrs. Lucci.
Present.
Mr. Dondorfer.
Present. I would like to make a motion to approve the minutes from the January 6th, 2021 organizational and regular trustee meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Moving into elected officials report. Fiscal Officer Amy Dawson.
Thank you, Mr. McIntosh. Just an FYI, I did file our 2020 financial statements with the state auditor today. There is a copy on file. If you wish to email, you just need to give us a call and we'll be happy to do that. However, what I would encourage you to do is they're unaudited. Okay, they haven't been seen yet by the auditor. It's just a requirement. We filed that by March 1st. You can go back 10 plus years on the Ohio State Auditor's website, pull up Concord Township, Lake County, because there's about 7 Concord Townships in the state of Ohio. Pull up Concord Township, Lake County, and you will have every single audited statement. So if that's something that you're interested in, that's a really good resource for you to go and get the information. That is all I have.
Thank you. Mrs. Lucci.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple things. I did speak with a few residents about the COVID vaccine. This is a county-led initiative, so I did lead them to our website where we posted information as well as links on the Lake County Health District's website where they can register and sign up for the vaccine at various pharmacy locations. I believe our Discount Drug Mart here is offering appointments for that as well. So any information, if you have any questions, give us a call, but all the information is online or with the health district. I did speak to a resident about her road conditions. She had some concerns. By the time I got out there, our service department had already been there. Mr. Rose had already followed up with her, and it is some project that is in the future as far as future repair. So that was handled very well. It seems to be the time of year where it appears there's a little littering issue. I think residents have brought up that they feel no littering signs would be appropriate. We were able to place a couple of please do not litter signs this past year. The county did not approve a couple of them, so we didn't pursue that any further. And honestly, I feel that it's not so much a littering problem as maybe garbage that is just getting blown away in the wintertime, and then no one picks it up, and then it snows, and then it's kind of is the same problem. So maybe we look at down the road some initiative to, have a cleanup crew, or maybe we just go out, pick up our garbage, help our neighbor. But in any event, it is something we do care about, but we're not quite sure that the littering signs are the way to proceed with that. But we do thank the residents who have concerns. I'm still getting phone calls about the grocery store. Some residents are asking, is it Trader Joe's? What is it? And I have discussed it is Lucky's. We feel it's going to be a great fit for Concord Township. We're looking forward to it. As far as the timeline, we're hoping for April, but it depends on our county's road widening project of Cryle. So that's still out there. And last, we did have our first Talk of the Township for this year, taping a couple weeks ago, which is always really goes very well. And I just want to wish everybody a good end of their January. This is probably the most depressing time of the year, they say, just because of lack of sunshine and holidays are over and the credit card bills are coming. But stay strong, stay positive. I always try to think about things that I'm grateful for, which kind of helps me stay in that sort of positive mindset. So that's my report.
Thank you, Mrs. Lucci. Mr. Dondorfer.
Yeah, since the last meeting, I did have a couple calls from a couple residents. One, I took a call from a developer regarding RCD potential construction plan in Concord Township, and I know that they've followed up with our zoning department and are working through those channels. I did have some calls on the fire station project, whether or not there was an update where we're at on that. I know that we're planning on updating our residents and keeping them informed on all that as we work through this project. We're all excited about it. I also, as Amy did, talk to some people about the supermarket, and I can assure our residents that we're working very closely with the owners of the grocery store as well as our county engineer to ensure that widening project on Cryle Road happens sooner than later, so that we can have that project completed before the end of the build out, so that it doesn't impact the new grocery store from opening. So that's all good stuff. Lastly, I just have a comment. I had the opportunity for a brief moment today to watch some of the inauguration, and it caused me to reflect on what's been going on nationally over the last several months. And there's been so much division, not only nationally and locally throughout this election and things of that nature. I took it as an opportunity to reflect and realize how important it is for people to work to be undivided. There's been so much division recently, and it's actually an opportunity to become unified, and I think to work collectively as elected officials. I think we have an obligation to our residents and the people that we represent to work professionally, and no matter what side of the fence you're on, or what you're whether you're right, left, or in the middle. I just think I looked at it as an opportunity to start new and look to work together and do what we can to support our community and do the best that we can for them. So that's just a comment I had. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dorndorfer. Well, it sounds like we've all been fielding. I have also taken a few phone calls, or actually more so on social media, answering questions about the grocery store. Lucky's, is it coming? When is it coming? I know people haven't seen anything going on, and there's that. So, of course, Cryle Road is going to be widened, and we're adding the center turn lane, and that seems to be something that people in the community weren't as aware of. Understanding, and I think maybe we're all a little gun shy about the construction, and is that the last effort up there was quite a lengthy period of time, and we don't anticipate this being nearly as long. It's going to be kind of a quick in and done sort of thing, comparatively speaking, to adding roads and redoing that entire intersection. So we just like to let people maybe be a little bit at ease that we don't anticipate near the level of disruption. This is a shorter term project, 8 to 10 weeks if all goes well, and we're in and out and done. And I think having that center turn lane and certainly resurfacing Cryle Road is going to make everybody in the township a lot happier. That's pretty brutal. I have fielded questions about a rezone. About a year ago, I think we didn't approve a rezone, and I got contacted by a resident that was affected by that recently to ask where that project was. I haven't heard anything there. I've taken a couple of questions about roads and that. When are they going to get worked on? The township does have a long-range road plan. We do look at this thing a couple years out, so if residents have concerns about the road schedule or what's going on, where's my road? When it comes to township roads, Concord does maintain a schedule, and the trustees are familiar with that, as the service department, so you can always call and ask questions about that and get information. And as Amy said, Tim Brown has been fantastic at meeting with residents and explaining what's going on, so we're here for you on that. I have also fielded some of the concerns regarding the littering, and we'd like to encourage people to pick up and be conscious of that. I do know that major waste disposal made a change. I found out this the hard way, but you're not allowed to put your recyclables in their recyclable tub in a plastic bag. It's got to be loose. So now if you've got an overfilled bin, you're going to have loose particles, and with the wind we generally have this time of year, it's a problem. Our neighborhood's always worse in the winter for sure. Lastly, I did receive a couple of phone calls about the vacancy in the commissioner's office at Lake County from some residents concerned, wondering what's going to happen with that, what the process is, and the Republican Party is going to have to make an appointment due to that vacancy. So that's coming up in a few weeks. So I'd like to ask, or echo Mr. Dorndorfer's comments regarding civility and just, where we all live in a community. Concord at the end of the year, went through an election. It was a pretty divided issue, and we had some of that on our front door here and as well. And we do need to work together and sort of move on from that. So I encourage everybody to we live in a community and we have to share it with each other, and our opinions can be our opinions, but just try to be as neighborly as possible. I think that serves us better in the long run, and we need to try to find as much common ground as we can to work together. So that concludes my report. So we will move into the department reports, and this evening we have Administrator Rose.
Thank you, Mr. McIntosh, members of the board, Mrs. Dawson, members of the audience. Good evening. On tonight's agenda is our first resolution of the year, 2021 TAC 1, that authorizes us to advertise for bids for the upcoming joint road resurfacing project. This year we are once again partnering and participating with Painesville Township. We had very good success with that, so I encourage and request a favorable vote on that resolution. I accepted on behalf of the Board of Trustees a resignation letter from part-time firefighter James Hawk on January 14th, effective February 1st, 2021. We thank James for his service to Concord Township, and we wish him well in his future endeavors. I also accepted on behalf of the trustees a resignation letter from Fire Department Chaplain Larry Poza, dated January 15th, effective same day. And we thank the chaplain for his service to our fire department, and we wish him well as he continues on with other endeavors. I have a couple of notes from the recreation department to plug for Deb Esker and her folks. Just a reminder that the Concord's Best Snowman contest goes till the end of February. The 31st annual photo contest, which is always quite popular, you have to enter by February 28th. And the Concord Township history coloring books are available online or at the community center for sale. So you can go through our website to get to rec, or you can stop into the community center and pick one of those up. Just a reminder to everybody that our building is open to the public to conduct business. Masks are required. We're still maintaining our drop box adjacent to the front door for anyone who's not ready to come into the building, and that's no problem. And we still conduct business by telephone and email, courier, pigeon, mail, whatever they would like. We're happy to accommodate. And that closes out the regular portion of my administrator's report. I asked Chief to join me this evening because we just wanted to give a quick minute or two update on the fire stations project, to update the board on the latest happening. So I'll turn it over to Chief, and then I'll dovetail behind Chief. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rose. Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to come tonight and give you a quick update on where things are. Over the holidays, it seems like not a whole lot's coming over our desk and, from the architects on what's happening. So I can let you know that they will be, over the holidays, over December and January, the architects have been working on what they call design development. So taking the initial schematics, basically the blocks, and adding the rooms, adding mechanicals, working with the engineers to make sure that mechanical systems, electrical, plumbing, HVAC, all that works well together in this design development phase. This phase is wrapping up probably probably by the beginning of February. And this phase accounts for approximately 30% of the work needed for them to develop construction documents. Construction documents are required for us to be able to go to bid. So we have to have the construction documents so that the contractors have something to bid on. Over the past month or or so. The fire department and architects have been meeting virtually to discuss space by space design. We spent probably 2 days talking about training elements and integrated training, dealing more specifically with like anchor points for safety so that we can use interior parts of the building as tie-offs for rappelling, firefighter rescues, stuff like that in-house. But to make it safe, we have to have tie-offs. So we made some decisions as to where those would be situated. We had a lot of discussion about the training tower and the configuration of that tower and what kind of training we saw ourselves doing in that space, as well as in the mezzanines at both stations. So there's some opportunities for a lot of different training elements within those spaces. Other parts of the discussion led us to discussing more about stormwater specific to Station 2. We started having those conversations last week. We know there's a concern over there, so we've been working with the architects and engineers and just trying to put our heads together and how to best resolve those issues during construction. The other, more recently, the discussion has been focused on temporary conditions for Station 2 during construction. This decision still hasn't been made whether to begin with Station 2 first or Station 1 first. There's obviously pros and cons both ways. But regardless of which station is done first, it will be necessary to establish temporary conditions for Station 2, which includes temporary firefighter quarters for 2 firefighter paramedics, including 1 officer. Some kind of structure, whether it be a tent or some temporary structure for an engine, which will be equipped with advanced life support, which all our engines are now. This will be enhanced a little bit so that they can basically do everything that an ambulance can do except take you to the hospital. For that, we'll have the ambulance from the ambulance that's normally stationed at Station 2 will be relocated to Station 1 with 2 personnel that'll come over for the transport. But care will start immediately. There will be no interruption in service. The Deputy Chief, myself, Lake County IT, Lake County Telecom, and our Recreation Department met this morning to discuss temporary accommodations for fire prevention, as they'll be displaced out of their current office adjacent to Station 2. And we have a nice plan over there that will not interrupt community service in the community center. Right now we're tackling some space needs for additional equipment, furniture and stuff that'll come out of Station 2 during construction, so we're working through that right now, where to put that stuff. Like I said, we'll be relocating the ambulance from Station 2 to Station 1. We're working on housing displaced equipment from Station 1, which will include 1 engine and 1 ambulance. So that's another element that we're working through. And accommodations for the 2 additional firefighters at Station 1. So that's where we're at. So there's been a lot going on in the last couple of months to get us to where we're at. So I'm still waiting on a lot of information to come in.
Okay.
But that's where we're at so far. Questions for me?
The design development, you said that's 30% complete, and that's for Station 1 and Station 2, right?
Correct. What I was saying is, when the design development process is complete,
Okay.
that accounts for 30% of the work needed to get to construction documents.
Okay, before we can go out to bid.
Right.
Okay.
So
Okay.
they have the design development So they'll have about approximately 70% more work
Right.
to complete the construction documents once those are authorized.
Okay.
And then we'll have those ready for bid.
And is there a timeline to get to that point as far as the construction documents? Is there?
Construction documents will take probably, I would say about 5-6 months. No, that's not right. No. So that would take, they're estimating that Station 2 will be bid ready probably April or May.
Okay.
And then Station 1 will be bid ready because it's a larger project right around August, September. And that was the latest update that we got a couple weeks ago, so I'm not sure if that's changed or not.
I'm gonna dovetail with Chief. This microphone's on, right, Greg? Yes. Okay. Just so we don't bounce back and forth, but we have a coordination meeting scheduled with the architects Wednesday morning. I would anticipate that design development is done by the end of the month, and I'm likely going to request to place the construction drawing purchase order to move forward with construction drawings on the February 3rd agenda. And we'll likely be talking about this at our strategic planning meeting again at the end of the month. So that's where we are. As we get through the meeting, if you have any questions or anything pops up, I mean, we're here for the meeting and we're happy to jump in and get you the answers.
A question for Chief, just piggybacking on Carl's question a little bit. What, so we had stakeholder meetings last year, we had conceptual drawings, we had some approximate layouts and whatnot. When you talk about, you guys are talking, it sounds like you're pinning down some finer details that were not in that, or that were, we did concepts and you're kind of tightening, okay, now that this is, are you changing much? What's changing from what we've seen in the past as far as design layout? Is it pretty much the same, or
So basically what you'll see at the completion of design development when they submit those is the walls, the windows, the doors, in that detail. As far as the overall footprint, nothing has changed.
So footprints and general layout are what we've discussed last summer. We haven't made any really major change. Just kind of, okay, now that this is what we're working with, we're tightening up certain details.
Correct.
Hooks here, training mezzanine is going to work like this, that kind of thing, tweaking the original. Okay.
And the more discussion we have like that now, you know, the more detail we can provide the architects as far as our needs and what we anticipate seeing space by space, you know, leads us to preventing change orders down. I mean, we're going to have some changes, I'd imagine. No project goes without them.
Right.
But, you know, trying to limit those as much as possible so that we show right on the front, right on the prints, what exactly has to happen in each space.
And remind me, just refresh, and maybe just for, you know, residents that are watching or watch this later at some point, when we went with the various concepts, and we've had several evolutions of both stations, going back to your programming review, that was an interactive process between the architects and Concord Fire. So our firefighters participated in a lot of the things that drove the design to date. So we're not looking at a situation where you're putting together something that the firefighters are like, oh, we're not going to use that room, it's not wasted. You guys have a very tight process where this is a very use-driven design.
Correct. Correct.
I just have a question. So the construction drawings, we're completing for both stations, but it's 2 separate bidding times?
Well, I don't know that we made that decision whether, you know, because I think we can go to bid separately or combined, but I think there's, again, pros and cons both ways of whether to bid the project together or separately. But Station 2 will be bid ready first on its own.
Correct.
So if you chose to bid them together, then we'd have to wait until August, September, when Station 1 construction documents are done.
Okay.
So that we can bid them together.
Okay, so the construction documents for 1 won't be finished until
Right.
that time anyway. Okay.
Yeah, One other thing that we're going through now is not so much a construction manager at risk, but I'm reviewing some documents to prepare putting out a request for proposals for an owner's rep. Somebody who is familiar with building fire stations that can be our direct representative and help us manage the project. North Ridgeville did this. We talked to them when we toured their stations. I doubled back and talked to them again. They found it to be very helpful, very beneficial. And there are, when we put it out for RFP, I'm sure there will be some local interest, meaning Ohio, that will be interested in this project to be our owner's rep to help us facilitate a smooth construction process.
So they function in the capacity of almost like the construction management component of the project.
Correct.
One question, getting back to Station 2, as far as relocating our assets, so just to clarify, you're talking about the one engine will be on the west end there under a tent or whatever we
Yes.
have it sheltered with, and that is for immediate care for anybody that needs it on that west end. If they need a transport, the ambulance comes from Station 1.
Correct.
Okay.
If we do that, I know there's been different things. So are we going to continue to be, say more, but self-reliant, like really handling our call? Are we going to be depending on other agencies for more support during this time due to that change, or are we going to be able to kind of fend for ourselves?
I think we'll be able to fend for ourselves as much as we're able to fend for ourselves today in
Normally.
our current situation.
Okay.
I don't think it'll change dramatically because of our temporary circumstances.
Okay.
I can't say that we will never have to rely on our neighbors,
Right.
or ask them for help. We do that now,
Right.
and we offer our help to them as well. So
But do you think that reliance would be as it is today? It isn't going to adversely change because we're doing this project. What considerations as far as the temporary? I mean, we've got some things that you're required to follow by law that we need to be aware that you're having to factor into this decision as far as seasonality and temperature, correct? As far as storing that gear.
correct, yeah. So the temporary, I'll call it a tent for now, just because that's the only thing I've seen done at other fire station projects. But heated, lighting, security. There are controlled substances on site, so we have to protect those.
Right.
So those will have to be accommodated probably inside the living quarters, the temporary living quarters of the firefighters, and they'll just have to grab them before they go. Yeah.
So this is not a simple thing. Putting together a temporary
No, sir.
quarters for this is a
There's
big
a lot of
deal.
moving parts.
Yeah.
There's a lot
Okay.
of moving parts to this.
So one more question, you said you'd be having to relocate an ambulance from Station 2 to Station 1. Would that stay outside, or is there a spot where that will be?
No, there's a spot inside Station 1,
Okay.
but that would, so right now in Station 1, we have an ambulance, a structural fire engine, a rescue pumper, and another ambulance. So actually there's 2 ambulances in there right now just because of COVID, and we thought our call volume would go up. So basically that ambulance, the third new ambulance that's in Station 1 now would be displaced, and then Station 2's ambulance would go in there. So it'll still be 2 ambulances and 2 engines. But I just have to find temporary locations for that ambulance. So that's what we're working on now.
Any questions at the moment? Good. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
If you have anything else before the night's over, we'll call you back up. Okay, moving on from department reports, I'd like to open it up to members of the audience that would like to speak or have any questions for the trustees.
There is no one on the line,
No one
sir.
online, anybody here? Okay, we'll move on from that to the old business, seeing none. We're prepared to take on the new business. Before we get into votes, just like to open it up to the trustees. I mean, we just had a nice presentation from the chief. Is there any dialogue or questions we'd like to kick around? We've got some things coming up, and we're
Yeah.
gonna have some decisions to make.
You want to
Yeah, like you mentioned, this is a challenging project, challenging, not, impossible, obviously. So there's a lot of moving parts to make sure that, there's no disruption in service, that we have adequate space to move equipment around, to house our firefighters. I think, an owner's rep is probably a great idea to kind of help, inform us as to those moving parts.
Yeah, I would agree with Amy. I think, a project of this magnitude and what we did as far as, soliciting community input from the stakeholder meetings, I think it's going to be very important to have somebody that, is familiar with this type of project that can sort of, be our oversight and make sure that, it's managed appropriately and we're doing things correctly. As far as the safety for the community, I can assure the residents that, we're going to do what is necessary to make sure that we're keeping close contact with our fire chief and project manager and things of that nature, and be involved in making sure that there's no disruption of services to our residents. But we did a lot of work on this project with our community, and I think it's going to be important to keep them informed and to answer their questions if they have it, and gather any feedback that they may have as we work through this. So I think it's going to be important to stay involved and engaged and work together, collectively and attentively.
I agree. I mean, I like the idea of having an owner's rep. I think to do construction management sort of outside the architecture firm seems to me that makes a lot of sense. It gives us a little bit of a third party outside of the, not influence. It's not the architect doing it, or at least I think at the very minimum we need to consider that as something. So I when Minister Rose mentioned to me, I thought that was a good idea, right, that we pursue that. Just occurring to me, Minister Rose, I have a question. You mentioned that coming up we're going to need to approve construction prints. So I know that we've had proposals and things on LeMay Erickson in the past, and we talked about, Carl had brought up that stakeholder meetings, engage the community and so forth, but proceeding with construction drawings, and so that's all part of the original package that LeMay presented to the township a number of years ago.
Yes, sir.
And this time last year, this board decided we weren't going to go seek another architect firm. We didn't want to take the time and waste the money that the township had previously spent with another firm. So we're on the things that are forthcoming as far as the costs in the project are fees or expenses that we've been planning on as far as this budget. Those are known figures. We aren't making any new decisions as far as how that is proceeding.
No, sir. This falls right in line with what was laid out from the original contract with LeMay Erickson, the architects. They are partnered with AECom, which is a local Northeast Ohio civil engineering firm. The costs have tracked right along with their proposal. There haven't been any surprises yet.
So the big cost decisions we'll be facing were when we put this out to bid, we take it in, and that's where the value of the owner's rep should really come in. So,
that's correct.
So we're really just wrapping up the end of it, and the cost decisions that the township will be making that are the bigger parts of this, those decisions are yet to come.
They are yet to come, yes, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, we're having good dialogue here about this project, and I think it's good that we continue this, especially as we work through this project, just to keep the residents informed, let them know what's going on. If they've got questions of some of the discussion that we've had, by any means, please feel free to reach out to any one of us. But I think this is, good engagement as far as having this type of conversation when we're working through this project with them, so that we can keep the community informed.
Yeah, it helps to go over each step, as you mentioned, the design phase, the construction phase, and then the requests for proposals and all that, and breaking it down gives us a better idea of timelines and, lets us face any kind of opportunities in a little more meaningful manner.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Okay, just leave it. Anything else before we proceed into the new business and take care of a couple of votes we got this evening?
Good.
Mr. Chair, and I move that we vote to approve a resolution by the Concord Township Board of Trustees to advertise for bids for the resurfacing of various roads under a combined township resurfacing project, Concord Township and Painesville Township, LCE project number 2020-017, with bid opening February 9th, 2021.
And that would be resolution 2021-01.
Thank you, Ms.
I'll
Nelson.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item B on the agenda, we've got a couple of letters of recognition for the Eastern Lake County Chamber of Commerce.
We do, thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Eastern Lake County Chamber of Commerce Beacon Award winner for 2021 is the Lake Jogger Recovery Centers. The trustees' letter reads as follows. On behalf of Concord Township, we congratulate Lake Jogger Recovery Centers as being selected as the Eastern Lake County Chamber of Commerce Beacon Award winner for 2021. Lake Jogger Recovery Centers, LGRC, is a private nonprofit corporation providing continuous substance abuse treatment and prevention services to the community since 1971. The center provides a wide range of services for adults whose lives have been affected by their own or another's use of alcohol, drugs, problem gambling, or mental illness. LGRC programs can return people their lives with their uniquely designed multiple levels of care, providing life-changing opportunities for individuals to drastically change their thinking, attitudes, and behaviors about their involvement with alcohol and drugs. In addition to 3 offices located in Mentor, Painesville, and Chardon, LGRC operates 4 residential treatment facilities, 2 for men, 2 for women, which offer home-like atmospheres designed to provide residents with structured and supportive environments in which they can focus on developing skills and insights necessary to achieve long-term sobriety, including treatment, counseling, workforce preparation, and recovery housing. LGRC continues serving the community in a variety of ways and has done so for nearly 50 years. From outpatient services to residential treatment to recovery housing, the agency is poised to help people as they travel the road through treatment to sobriety and beyond. Concord Township extends our gratitude and honors LGRC for their dedication and grateful appreciation to Concord Township Board of Trustees. The next letter of recognition is for the Eastern Lake County Chamber of Commerce 2021 Business of the Year for Painesville Credit Union. On behalf of Concord Township, we congratulate Painesville Credit Union as being selected as the Eastern Lake County Chamber of Commerce Business of the Year for 2021. Painesville Credit Union was founded in 1942 by 7 city employees who decided to pool their money and help each other out. Now, 78 years later, still located in Painesville, they have 4,600 members who continue to combine their monies to help each other out. The credit union's philosophy of helping people is not only for the financial services they offer their members, but by continually sponsoring and supporting many organizations throughout the community, such as the Lake County Veterans Services, Lake Jogger Food Banks, Fairport Athletic Boosters, Fairport Men's Civic Club, Fairport Senior Center, Lake County WIC, Downtown Painesville Organization, Harpersfield Township, Lake County YMCA, Harvey Red Raiders Boosters, Perry Athletics, Village of Madison, Painesville Schools Educational Foundation, the Sub-Zero Mission, Toys for Tots, Lake County Food Force, Wreaths Across America, 1922 Coffee and Brew Kids Event, Painesville Railroad Museum, Young Guns 4-H Club, Hannah's Home, 5 Loaves, Lake Erie College Athletics, Painesville School Supplies Drive, Lifeline Duts, Lake County Speedway and Lake County Dog Pound, and many more. It is an expression of appreciation by your fellow residents and local organizations for the significant contributions Painesville Credit Union has made in the everyday lives of the community. Concord Township extends our gratitude and honors you for your dedication and grateful appreciation to the Concord Township Board of Trustees. And that concludes the 2 letters. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Drew. Okay, and we get to the tail end of our agenda here. Mrs. Dawson, would you please would you like to read the future meetings and announcements?
Thank you, Mr. McIntosh. On January 21st at 5:30 p.m., we'll have the strategic planning for zoning and economic development held at the community center. On January 29th at 8 a.m., there'll be a regular strategic planning meeting at the community center. February 2nd, 7 p.m., zoning commission meeting here at Town Hall. February 3rd from 6:30 to 7:30, be a special meeting with trustees and zoning commission for a proposed RCD here at Town Hall. 7:30 p.m., the regular trustee meeting here at Town Hall. And on February 5th at 4:30 p.m., appropriations planning workshop.
Thank you, Mrs. Dawson. And with that, that concludes our meeting for this evening. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.